In the past, it was like, back in the day, this was kind of like when I started about 10 years ago here. It was sand and rock salt, and it was basically, well, how much is it going to snow, and when is it going to start? That was about kind of what snow plowing everywhere was, you know. And nothing about Norwalk, but it's just like anything. Technology has come so far. And I'm very passionate now about snow removal that I wasn't in the past, but you know, it really, the industry and the American Public Works Association has really invested a lot into snow removal operations. So what are we looking at? Not just when's it going to start, but we're looking at road pavement temperature. So we go out in various locations of town and we take actual road pavement temperatures. Very important for what kind of chemical we're going to apply to the road. We're looking at pavement condition, if it's wet or dry, because that impacts our dosage level. Now you think about it, dilution factor. If it's raining, your salt isn't going to be as effective because it's basically like you're diluting it, right? Like your soap in the washer. So we have to know what we expect precipitation-wise, because that impacts the dosage level. And we want to also never over-apply or use too much, because then that has budget impacts. So you have to kind of finally walk this tightrope all the time of what we're going to use. Ambient air temperature forecast. Is it going to rise or fall? Because if it's rising, that's one thing, that's usually a better thing. If it's falling and the dew point is going to be higher than the ambient air temperature, then what happens is if we pre-treat the roads, we get refreeze on the roads because we pulled that moisture out of the air and now we've created a safety issue. So we need to be extremely mindful and very educated as to what kind of materials we're going to put out, how we're going to put them out, when we're going to put them out, because obviously we want to have the best result. We want to have the best result from a budget standpoint, a safety standpoint, and we don't want to cause any safety issues. So the kind of choices we have are to either do direct liquid application. That's typically 24 hours before a storm. You can't do it much more than that because then the traffic has, you know, basically worn that material off the road. We have to decide how much we're going to put down. 15 to 35 gallons per lane mile. We have a flow meter. We determine how much, and that again goes back to all those meteorological conditions. When things are going to start. The two types Chris mentioned, we have magnesium chloride in a liquid, and we have the magnesium, potassium, calcium blend. And we've gone to that blend this year because we felt Norwalk is kind of a microclimate where we pull a lot of moisture from Long Island Sound. We're not that cold by the Sound, but north of the Parkway we are. So we worked with a vendor to come up with a specific blend that works a little bit better in Norwalk. And then we have our dry options. We have the rock salt, which is the cheapest. But if you just put rock salt out, like I said, there's a lot of bounce and scatter that ends up into the curb line. So it's great that it's melted all the snow along the curb, but that doesn't typically help the driver. We might, in certain temperatures, anything above 25 degrees Fahrenheit, we would typically use the rock salt, and we might wet it with the magnesium chloride. You saw those tanks on the back of the truck. And what that does is that makes that slurry so it doesn't bounce off to the curb line. And then we may just put down treated salt, which is either green or a brown. The green, the Clear Lane is from Cargill. Not sure what, they both have agricultural additives to them, but it makes it a little bit stickier. You use less material because it stays on the lane versus bouncing to the curb. And then as temperatures go down, we may go with what we would call like the super blast, which is the magnesium chloride dry plus wetting it with more magnesium. And that's what we used in the last storm, Hercules, when the temps were so low. And again, we have to decide, typically we pre-wet 15 gallons of liquid per lane mile, but we have to decide how much we're going to put down. 200, 300, 350, 400. We have all these electronic controls in the trucks, and we tell the plow truck operator what, you know, basically what program to run for this storm or for this particular time period.